Hello.
Hey,
Sorry,
what's
but
up? How you doing,
sorry,
Mr.
but
Caesar?
I'm doing well. It's been a hectic day, but I'm so glad to be here finally.
Oh my gosh, I'm just so grateful that you're joining literally from the classroom. Thank you,
Yeah.
everybody who's joining. I love to see all these new faces and people on here. All right, well, before we get started, really quickly, Mr. Caesar, just want to say happy belated Teacher Appreciation Week. I hope you had a
Thank,
good week last week.
thank you, thank you. I appreciate you.
How'd it go? Any special
It was
things?
good. It was so we actually have a new principal at our school. And they actually did they had some breakfast for us and some lunches, and honestly, I hope you remember, I think you remember, some students wrote some letters. So like they write us some cards just
Mm-hmm.
to tell us that they appreciate us, and it's dope, right? It's teacher appreciation isn't a lot, and the way we get repaid is the love from our students. So we definitely felt appreciated. I got a cool t-shirt, everything like that.
Love that. Oh, well, I'm also just so happy to see all the kids here. I see somebody's asking when they're going to get their smoothies, so love
Yes,
that.
that's what, yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, thank you so much again for joining me. Thank you, everybody who's here right now. I love to see how many kids are here and teachers and friends. So welcome to the policy table. My name is Alejandra. I am a policy entrepreneur at Next 100, where I am doing finding systemic solutions to ensure that newcomer immigrant students have what they need to be successful in our classrooms. And really excited to be here with Mr. Caesar. So honored to introduce you to him. A former colleague of mine, a friend, and also a mentor. Just a quick background on Mr. Caesar. When I first became a teacher, he was one of the first people to come introduce himself to me, came into my classroom and said, how can I help? He got me curriculum. He gave me tips on how to start the classroom. And then we also taught a lot of the same students. So, we collaborated together on how can we best support each of our students. And we also kind of worked with the Latinx Club. And at the time, we were trying to create a space for our students to feel safe, to collaborate on homework, speak Spanish together, play games, whatever it was. Mr. Caesar brings 7 years of experience in the classroom, working directly with immigrant students, and he has so many ideas to fix the system. I'm just so excited to have him join me. So, Mr. Caesar, if you could just introduce yourself and give us a quick background on you.
Okay. Well, that was a glowing review. I appreciate you. So my name is George Caesar. As Alejandra said, I'm in my 7th year at, so I teach high school math, financial algebra, and Algebra 1 in Liberty City in Miami, down in South Florida. And so I came to the classroom through Teach for America. However, my story starts in Panama, Central America. So I am 100%, 100% panameño. I immigrated to the United States with my family when I was younger, and I grew up in San Antonio, Texas. I studied around the world, was educated, got to play soccer, and then I came to Miami through Teach for America to start my teaching career, and it's been the most impactful experience of my life, right? And so we'll get more into the children and things like that, but the children who have sat in my classroom have shaped my life in a way that I could have never imagined, and they continue to do so. Every day is a learning opportunity for them and for me, and these kids have grown on me, which is why I'm here in the classroom, right? The 2 years got extended to 7, and we're still here.
Awesome. All right. Well, Mr. Caesar, again, thank you so much. So we're going to get started on a couple questions. If you all have questions while we're talking, please feel free to throw them into the chat as we go. We'll try and address at the end. But we're going to start. So, Mr. Caesar, you're in the classroom every single day with the kids. So please tell us, what are some of the challenges that you see some of your newcomer immigrant students facing when they first start at school and throughout their first couple years?
So I think the first one probably seems obvious to most people, and it's the language barrier, right? But what I don't think many people think about is the learning process. Learning anything is difficult enough, right? If we remember your Algebra 1 class, you remember when your teacher started putting letters into math, it was difficult enough to figure out what was happening with polynomials, and that was with the teacher speaking your language, right? Not picking out keywords here and there. And so the language barrier is a massive issue for many students, but we also have to be real. They do anything and everything to overcome it, right? There's times where you think a student's texting on their phone, and when you go check their phone, they're on a translate app trying to translate the word problem or trying to translate the passage to be able to apply. And so obviously language is foremost. Feeling a sense of community is another issue, right? Because you are not from this country, you're not from this community, and then you're also a minority in that space. So just definitely not feeling like part of it. And then the main one that I like to bring to Elevate today is something that I've started to learn and listen to lately from the students, and it's their social emotional health, right? So like you ask students what's going on, they say, I miss my mom, right? She's back in my home country, right? I'm here by myself with an uncle. I miss my friends. I just saw Instagram or a video or something. My friends graduated back home and I'm here by myself. So not only do you have the academic obstacles and the community obstacles, on top of that, you also have students suffering and going through real life traumas, and then also being asked to just be regular students and be cheery and just, that's something I think many people need to consider and think about the child holistically.
Absolutely. Thank you for bringing those to the fore here into the group. What, if anything, has the school or the district done to try to amend some of these challenges, or meet and address these challenges that you just brought up?
So there have been actions taken to support certain communities. However, a lot of times it feels more like a compliance thing and not necessarily worried about the desired outcome or the finished product. And so what I would like to see is, again, more involvement of the community that's supposed to be served by the actions and by the new implementations, because sometimes it's simple things like marketing is different in different communities. Some communities operate on Facebook, right? If I want to spread something to all my Panamanian tias, I have to go to WhatsApp. And if you share it on WhatsApp, so different communities, you need to tailor your message and the way that you message different communities. And I think that's maybe something that needs to be investigated more and tried more, at least in our area.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thinking beyond the district and the school, I know that as teachers, even when the district and the school aren't doing maybe what it feels like the right thing to do or what they need to be doing, the teacher is going to try and come up with the best solutions so that they can meet their kids. And so what do you think, what have you been doing as a teacher, as a coach? I know you coach soccer. How have you supported your newcomer students throughout the years?
Well, the main thing, I think the most obvious one is food insecurity, right? And so we started Smoothies for Students to help attack the problem, and not just food insecurity, but the problems that it causes in our schools, right? Because students are coming void of nutrients, void of what they need to truly take advantage of the education that they came here for. So that's one. In the classroom, and I'm not the only one who does it, many teachers, we translate our slides, right? We put different links to different videos that can translate in their language, and we try to help bridge the gap between the material in English and what they can understand. One of my classes, I literally teach in Spanish. Half of my class is Latino, very little English. And so one day I teach in English, and then the next day I teach in Spanish for the students so that everyone can understand it. As a soccer coach, again, even just having the team and hosting the team is so important for our kids, because they finally feel like part of the school, right? You don't feel like part of the community because you're literally not from here. And then when you come here, you see the athletes walking around and the band, and you see all the different aspects of school that bring pride and make kids want to come to school, and they don't get to be a part of that. So then just having them with jerseys on, right? They didn't want to take them off. They wanted to wear them every day to school. And so hosting the team. And then now what we do is, this year there is no soccer team. So what we do is we host like community soccer events at an indoor soccer facility near the school. And we invite the families and everybody in so that there can still be that sense of community felt and tie them into the love of the school.
I love that. I love that you're thinking about how to bring the families in, how to bring the community, right? Because the kids are beyond just themselves, right? They have other people around them. So I think that's really special. So I'm thinking about what you just said, like the parents, the community. What would it look like to invite parents and students to lead the conversation around their educational journeys and like inform what advocates can do to support their goals?
I think it sounds basic, right? But it's ask them, right? Instead of prescribing what they need, instead of sitting in in an ivory tower, right, deciding policy, you need to actually speak because they have a better understanding of themselves and their community, right? They have an understanding of what they need, and even more, they also probably have a greater understanding of the more effective and efficient way to do it. So a lot of times when the decision makers are making the decision on their own, you end up wasting time, money, effort, and then in the end, the outcome is not what you desired. So it looks like the program didn't work, but really you just tried to kind of shove something on someone, on a community, and it wasn't the most effective way to do it.
Yeah, you did it without the people that are impacted by the thing you're trying to do, right?
Correct. It was, like I still say, one of the best things I've ever done. One year, I just started a WhatsApp group chat with the parents of my immigrant students, and just watching them take over everything and coordinate snacks and coordinate rides and who's coming to Saturday school, and just in ways that I could have never thought of myself, is absolutely something that, again, I've learned from my students and from the community, is how resilient and well they work together.
I love that. You can put that on repeat for me. So last thing before we maybe turn to some questions, again, folks who are watching, thank you so much for being here. If you want, please throw in some questions or thoughts. But the last thing I would love for you to talk about is just like, what do you wish policymakers, that's folks in the think tanks, folks at the school, or at the district level, folks at the state or at the federal level, what do you wish that they knew about your newcomer immigrant students?
Again, you try not to sound cliche, but like, I wish they knew how special they were, in the sense that, like, what it took for a lot of our students to be sitting in this classroom are things that hopefully most people will never have to experience. On top of that, when I see how they operate on campus, the way they look out for each other. Let's say there's a new student who knows nobody. They literally surround this student. They walk them to their new classes. They introduce them to their new teachers. They try to help them out like that. But not just within the immigrant community. The most amazing thing is my class that is half English speaking, half Spanish speaking. They're learning from each other. So now my kids who were born speaking English, now they have little phrases. Now they're telling kids, siéntate, right? When Mr. Caesar wants you to. And in the same way, they come and they whisper like, hey, what does this mean, right, in Spanish? And watching them build not just their academic English, but also their social English, so they can interact with their culture, so they can interact with what is their new community. They just need an opportunity. And really, more than anything, they just need access. Because students, they have their personality. They have their likes, their dislikes. They have their career path. They know what they want. They just don't know how to access it in this new environment. And so I think the one thing that they need is just access and opportunities. And then we just need to listen to them. We took our kids to one college trip specifically for the immigrant Latino population. And they came back and now they all want to go to college, almost as though by showing them what is possible. And you're talking about kids who have overcome, again, apparently insurmountable tasks to just be in this classroom. They just need you to show them the way. And they already made the longest distance trek they're going to. From here to college is a much shorter trip than what it took for them to get.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Just that the kids, they deserve to be embraced and loved, and they have a right to be in our classrooms, and we have to uphold that right, but also beyond that, love them and embrace them and help them get wherever they want to get to next.
So not to cut you off, but as I said, I was raised in Texas, right? So even for you to mention that they have a right to be in our classrooms, I don't think that's something that really needs to be debated, and especially if we're talking about the idea of withholding education, right, from students from young people who are living in our country. I can't even imagine how that's on for discussion in 2022. And so to everyone listening back home in Texas and everyone outside of Texas, it's a non-negotiable, right? Our kids need to be educated. They are part of our community. They add to our community. And so that's something that needs to be protected and upheld.
Thank you for mentioning that. Yeah, it's really sad to see what's happening in Texas with Governor Abbott, but I appreciate you saying that. And that's why I'm so happy to have you here. You are just such an honor to have as a guest on our Instagram, and also just like as a coworker, a friend, thought partner. So I appreciate you so much. If there are any questions, please feel free to put those in here. I see so many folks from the school. We appreciate having you guys, and of course, students of Mr. Caesar. Y'all are in here during your lunch, and that is so special. You all, I hope you're eating, but
No, they're amazing. The way that, so my favorite thing is children spell love Time. And so that's the same way whenever they take their time away from Instagram or YouTube or their friends, even to listen, right? Or to hop on a live and just be with us, is again how we feel their love. I see the pictures behind you and see that, like, even a child, they have limited number of graduation pictures. So to know that you are one of the people, auntie wants one, grandma wants one, coach from the park wants one, everybody wants one. So it's like gold, right? When the child decides to share themselves with you and their future with you. So I'm just blessed, honestly.
You just gave me so many chills. Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, they're special, and I am so happy that you're in the classroom, that you are working directly with kids, that you bring this value to the conversation, both to your students directly, but also to me. Like, I feel very, being in the policy space, blessed to have friends who are doing this work so intentionally and so thoughtfully on the ground. So I appreciate you. And with that, I think, we haven't gotten any questions. Thank you all for joining. I think that we can probably leave it at that. Let you get ready for your next class, which I believe starts in 10 minutes.
They're about to come back. They're knocking on the door. That's the thing. They're ready for it. So, but no, thank you so much for taking the time to elevate this, and then also to you and everyone listening. There's some of us working in the trenches, but there are different trenches, right? And we are supported by people in different roles outside of the classroom, pushing for the ability to teach our kids. And so I don't want anyone to think that you have to be in the classroom. Like, I see the future Dr. Jones commenting, right? She got her PhD to help try to stop something called slow violence and how it affects students. And so it doesn't have to be in the classroom, right? As long as you're pushing for educational equity, as long as you're pushing for humanity, for wherever your role is. It could be, you work for a corporation, you could work for a school district, you could work to try to create policy, or to everyone listening, you could run for an elected position and truly have your hand in the making of these policies that are going to support our babies. So thank you to everyone. We all play a role, and I'm glad to be able to support your desires for a better world.
Well, on that note, I can't end any better. So thank you all. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and enjoy the Caesar.
Thank you all. Bye.
Bye.